back. Welcome to Catherine's Crafty Creations. Today's episode, we are going to do a tumbler, and we're going to do it in an extra large convection oven. We're going to heat it at 375 degrees for 5.5 minutes, and you're going to see the results. We're going to sit it on top of a piece of silicone. I'm going to improvise because I don't have the silicone pads. I'm going to use a silicone candy maker. So let's go over to the studio and see how we do this. All right, the first thing I do is I'm going to use a sublimation tumbler. This one I got from PID Life. I get tumblers from different places. If I don't get them through Alibaba, I get them from other sources. If I need them right in a hurry, in this particular tumbler I need it in a hurry. So I set it all aside because we're going to mill it in the same machine. This one comes with a straw, metal straw. And before I get started, of course, I take the top off because we're not going to burn that with the top on it. And I'm going to prep this tumbler. And the way I prep my tumblers is I use alcohol and a paper towel, and then I use a heat gun to dry it. Okay, so one moment and I'll get that done. So we're going to use alcohol, a little bit of alcohol, and I clean whatever debris is on my tumbler, and I clean that all off. And that's how I prep my tumblers before I do any kind of sublimation. Then I dry it with the dry side of that same napkin, and then I really dry it using my heat gun. Okay. Pardon the sound. Oh, maybe I should plug it in. There we go. All right, next we will get you the image that's going to go on this tumbler, okay? And we're going to show you that in just 1 second. And we're back. This is the image we'll be using. The person that ordered this image is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and they want this image on this 20-ounce. So we're going to make sure that we center the image, right? We're going to put a small piece of tape here, making sure that as we roll it on here, it's straight. Small piece of tape here. I'm going to pull it off in a second. And we roll it on the image as tight as we possibly can. And I often use a sleeve, but this time I'm not. Just going to pull that piece of tape off because I know how tight this is now. And I put it back all the way around and I tighten it up. And then because if I'm using something with color, I don't want that piece of tape interfering with that color line. And I overlap because this is white on white and I don't have to worry about. I got it as far up to the top as I possibly can. I make sure that my image is centered all the way around. And we make sure we have as much tape as possible. Make sure it's tight as possible. No air getting in. All the way down, right? All the way down. Now, some people, they use a sleeve, a shrink wrap sleeve. And that's just fine. If you want to be one of those people, you can do that. That is not a problem. So the shrink wrap sleeve, and I have one right here, is usually applied with the heat gun. Now, shrink wrap naturally actually melts at 300 degrees, but sometimes people put it on here to make sure it's a really airtight seal around their tumbler. I can just get that around. So we're going to do that. We're going to put this around here, make sure it's an airtight seal around the tumbler. I put it on very carefully. I use my hand on the inside. Then I use my heat gun and I shrink it. So I shrink the wrap around the tumbler. Now, some people don't use this, especially when they're doing with color. I do because I want one with ghosting. So I use the shrink wrap. It does melt when it's in the temperature, in the oven. So don't get excited about that. Okay, this is the shrink wrap. I kind of straightened it up. Now up here, it's tightened right around the lip of the image. That's that little buckle is right there. It's tightened up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it to the oven. And I'm going to let you follow me to the oven. We're not going to walk through the house that way. And this is fine up here. It's just this a little bending at the top. I'm going to take it to the oven because it's white on white. We're not going to worry about this part right here. And we're going to heat it for 375 degrees for 5.5 minutes. So let's go. All right, so we're here at the oven. We have preheated our oven. Let me see if I can turn you at 375. And we're going to set the timer down to 5.5 minutes. It's going to press timer down until we get to the 5.5. Okay, my glove doesn't want to let me do right. Here we go. So we'll press the timer until we get down to 5.5. Come on down. And we're there. Okay. So when we get around 5.5, we will put this in the oven. It's at 375 degrees. This is an extra large. Because my oven is a standing oven, I do not have to turn it. Again, the plastic does melt. So once it's done at 5.5 minutes, we will come and take it out. And then we'll let it cool on our silicone wrap and our silicone pad for about 1 minute. Here we go. We're almost ready now. These gloves are the best things to have here. These thermal gloves, they work much better than regular oven mitts. All right, so we're going to take this out. We're going to set it on. Stop. I'm going to set it on a silicone tablet. That's getting hot. Set it on a silicone pad, and then we're going to let it cool for a minute, and then we'll take this off. All right, so rather than buy a new silicone pad, I just use my silicone candy maker as a place to set my mug on. And this is where I set my mug. So I just want you to see that. So you'll also see how the image is coming through really, really well. It's very clear. That means the ink has left the paper and moved on to the mug, the tumbler. And we'll see just how clear it is. The paper got a little crispy at the top, but it's okay. The plastic was holding it, but yes, it does melt. The sleeve does melt because it's actually set at like 300 degrees to melting point, so that's why. But it did tighten up our image onto our canister. So we're going to look at that in just a moment. As soon as this cools off, we're going to let this cool off. It has about 10 more seconds to cool off, and then we'll do the great reveal. Now, thank you for tuning in for another episode. I hope the Sublimation Tumbler episode helped you learn how to do that. If it helped, please like and subscribe. Comment in the comment section. If you have any questions about what I used Crafting Besties paper. I heated in a extra large Oster oven, convection oven for 375 degrees, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't go over that because when I go over that, the paper burns and so does the image, and the image starts to fade. So that's why I only go 375 degrees for 5 minutes, 30 seconds. I once did 400 degrees at 6 minutes, and the image was not what I wanted it to be. It was too light, and the client was not happy with that. So I'm very careful with my timing. So if you have any questions, you let me know in the comment section. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you, and see you again.